What up, everybody? It's your boy Squints here, and welcome to week 2 of my 0 to Hero challenge, where I will be pugging from 0 to 3k rating in Mythic Plus on a class and spec I have never played before. It's only week 2 of this challenge, but it is week 8 of the season, and this will be my first week of Tyrannical and only my second week of healing as a Holy Paladin. So that begs the question of how many keys did I brick this week? Is Holy Pally easy to learn? And am I able to clear plus 18 for my vault? Well, let's find out. First off, we have to go check out my vault, which I pulled a 473 hero weapon that was listed as my bis, which was a great way to start the week. And I ended up pulling a 14 AD key out, which felt like a pretty good key to start with for the week as well. I ended up traveling over to the Catalyst and ended up turning my veteran helm and champion chest into tier just so I could start off and have my 2Ps for the week. After that quick little Catalyst trip, I went and upgraded some of my gear with the little crests and flight stones I had left over from last week. Then I went and bought all my enchants and purchased some food and vials off of the auction house. And before I wanted to get started, I had to make sure that I ended up crafting some gear because I definitely needed it before diving into Tyrannical this week. So I went and crafted the Allied Wrist Guards of Companionship at item level 476 with some worm crests, and also did the Idol of the Lifebinder trinket, also 476, because I really needed a trinket because I was still rocking some blues. I didn't want to feel blue after this week was completed, to be honest. And before I dove into Mythic Plus this week, I made sure to just run LFR one last time in order to get my helm enchant. I didn't get anything else out of it, but hell, the helm enchant was a nice little upgrade as well for that new tier helm that I just upgraded. Now, kicking off the Mythic Plus for the week, we started with my 14 AD key, which we ended up timing pretty easily, and I ended up getting a champion cloak because someone didn't need it. I ended up pugging a group for the 16 Dark Heart Thicket that I now had. It was a little challenging, and I would say we mostly ended up struggling on the trash just due to lack of interrupts and CCs, and the trash was just really messy with this group for some reason. But hey, at the end of it, I ended up getting a neck out of it, and we did end up timing it. I did, though, feel that 16 was a little challenging, so I ended up with a fall key after this, which I dropped down to a 14, and we ended up plus 3ing it, and I did get some shoulders out of it because no one needed them. Since that 14 fall wasn't too bad, I figured I would just drop the new rise key down to a 15, and well, we started strong, but we ended up hitting Lothar, and he kind of kicked our ass, and we ended up bricking the key. But I don't think we bricked the key because of my healing. I think we bricked the key just because people didn't really know where to stand or position themselves on this boss. So I did what any psychopath would do, and I ended up running it again as a 14. This time, though, we ended up plus 2ing it and getting past that boss, and I was able to grab some gloves and a mount out of here, which felt freaking amazing. Like, the loot gods were on my side this week. Literally have just been getting loot rained down from the heavens on me. So I ended up taking those new gloves and shoulders that I received and turned it into my 4-piece so that I would have my 4-piece bonus from tier, which felt pretty damn good to continue the week with. And if you're wondering what the mount token turned into, it turned into a midnight. So after that loot bonanza that we just got and the mount, which was a pretty sick way to kind of kick off the week, honestly was a nice pick me up after bricking my first key so far of this challenge. From there, though, I sent it into the 16 EB that I now had, and boy did the second boss kick our ass. It was just due to the tank trying to start on Gola on the left, which was just weird, but I let him know that I had the interrupt on the heal, and we ended up getting him down. After that, we headed to the second boss and started clearing the trash, and then realized that we didn't have enough percentage before heading to the last boss. My nerves were kicking in because our backs were up against the wall at this point with the timer. And damn, did we just complete this by the skin of our teeth, finishing it with just 15 seconds left to spare. Completing this 16 EB, though, did finish my weekly, so I went and turned it in and ended up getting the Smoldering Seedling trinket out of it. Nice. Which was the last blue I had to replace. Now, though, I turned my focus into timing my missing dungeons for the week because I ended up with a repeat key after that. So I ended up pugging into a 16 Throne of Tides, which I needed for my rating, and the group was a little rough around the edges. We had a lot of deaths, but hell, we ended up timing the dungeon, and I ended up getting the Sea Star trinket out of it, so I can't complain. Honestly, the loot this week has been ridiculous. So I ended up pugging into a 14 BRH that, I'll just cut to the chase, we ended up bricking it. It was a carry group for a freshly leveled enhancement shaman who is still in greens and blues, basically. basically. I did offer him some tips though at the end and pointed him towards my guide video, which you can check out here. But yeah, that group was just all over the place and we had a insane amount of deaths and one-shots that happened to people. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe either. And yeah, you can say I'm a little freaking crazy because I ended up just pugging directly into a 15 BRH, but we timed it, baby, with a +2, so that felt freaking good. And from there, I said, hey, what up, ya boy? Let's pug into a 16 Waycrest Manor. And guess what? We timed it and broke the 2K rating and hit Keystone Master. Can I get a woo woo? And after that dungeon, I swapped my +16 key and ended up taking my new token from Keystone Master and turned it into a tier helm, which was a big item level upgrade over my veteran helm. And now with my new 1680 key, I formed a group with the goal of +2ing it so that I could have a +18 key that I could try and get my Mythic Vault slot with. And this AD was by far my best dungeon of the week. And honestly, that was thanks to some of you guys in the comments leaving tips and tricks along the way for me. And some of the biggest tips and tricks that actually helped me in this came from Joe Pal. One thing that Joe Pal pointed out is that my mastery applies based on the location of my beacon targets as well. So if I beacon a tank and a range player, I basically have full coverage to increase my healing overall. This was pretty big to learn. And number 2, it was using Divine Toll and Daybreak in conjunction, which ends up dealing big damage. This is now hands down my favorite combo. Thanks, Joe Pal. And if anyone has any healer tips or Holy Pally tips, let me know in the comments below. I love reading them and love seeing the experiences and things that you guys share with me. I ended up +3ing that AD and got a 19 EB, which I dropped down to an 18 because I wasn't playing around with the 19. I haven't even cleared an 18 yet. Ended up forming my group around groups of 2 players who queued up. Duo makes a cinco, so here we are. We're gonna time this 18 though. And honestly, this felt like it would give me the best odds in just completing and timing this dungeon. I went into it pretty scared of the second and third boss just because the damage is always really big there. And I just really wasn't sure what to anticipate going into an 18. But boy, was I wrong to be scared of them because we ended up one-shotting both of those bosses. And I felt pretty confident in my healing at this point. I was like, damn, I'm gonna do this. We gonna time this 18. Let's go. Little did I know though that the last boss, Colossus Blow group damage, was going to be the killer. And yeah, we wiped. And we wiped. And then we sub 1% wiped. No, God! And at this point, I thought everyone was going to leave the group, but they were all good sports and luckily stuck around. And after that 1% kick to the nuts, we downed the boss and didn't get any rating from it since I dropped the ball. But hey, I got the mythic gear slot, and that was the most important thing out of completing this dungeon anyway. I seem to really be struggling healing through group-wide damage that's really consistent like that. I know that being proactive helps, but if you have any Holy Pally tips on how to deal with consistent group-wide damage like this, please let me know. So I ended the week this week at 2097 rating and only bricked 3 keys this week, which puts our bricked count at 3 in total. Not bad. I also have a full vault, but obviously we are taking that Mythic Plus slot item, baby. Fingers crossed, it's a lit boy. Gear-wise, we ended the week at 464, up from a 438. This was an extremely lucky week for me. As you saw, I had some good drops and I was lucky people didn't need some gear in my groups. One thing I'm not sure of though is if I should keep using my champion C-Star or level up my hero Smoldering Seedling, which may help me with AoE healing. I'm not really sure though. What do you guys think? All in all though, I would say Holy Pally is relatively easy to learn. I really enjoy that the class has a lot of instant cast heals and the heals generally feel pretty strong. And once you get a hang of some of the main core cooldowns, it's pretty easy to play, and incorporating your DPS rotation into the healing rotation feels pretty good. I've seen some people say it's a little clunky. I'm not really familiar with how it is on other healers or how it was previously for Holy Paladin, but I will say I am enjoying it and I feel like I picked up the class pretty quickly. I will say though, I personally feel the skill curve comes from learning how to use all the cooldowns efficiently. There's so many bubbles and little things that you can do that I'm still trying to figure it out and figure out how to use all of them and when to use them. When the moments arise to use them, I'm just panicking and I'm just pumping healing into everybody, just getting up in there, you know? So I'm still trying to figure that out. And that's where I feel like the skill curve for this class really comes from. So I would say if you're looking for a healer to play, I would definitely suggest checking out Holy Pally. And by no means am I a healing expert or a Holy Paladin expert, and I am not subject to an increase in failed healing due to this comment, FYI. That's it from me for week 2 of my Zero to Hero challenge. I hope you're all enjoying the series, and don't forget to flick that like button and slam that subscribe button. Oh, and if you can't get enough of your boy, make sure to follow me on my other socials. I'd really appreciate that. Bye!